Well, I had a stroke on September 13th of 2019, and I was lifeline to St. Vincent Hospital. And my wife talked to the doctors, and they said I was going to need some rehab. Neither one of us knew at the time how much rehab I was going to have, but they said they couldn't recommend. But she went on the website of RHI, and it was just a gorgeous place. And I think she was the one that made the decision. The people, I think the people most of all, the therapists. I mean, I know they're not supposed to get friendships, but you have to have friendships when you work that close to people. And my breakfast club, we had 3 people, Janet, Benny, and Gwen. And every morning when someone new would come, we would make it a point to sit with them and eat and hear their story. And it helped a bunch. I can't say enough. That's why I had when I got my inpatient done, there was no question where I was going to have my outpatient. It was going to be at RHI just because of the therapist. And I know they told me that I wouldn't have the same therapist as I had as inpatient, but I never met anybody at RHI that I didn't think 100% was behind me. I started out with Kelly and Dakota, and Kelly gave me my first steps by myself, and Dakota was always there to back up, to hold me in case I tripped or fell. Shannon was my first speech therapist, and I think I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Shannon. She taught me how to play games, and kind of like them, but I didn't like them. I hate games, and she knew that. But in order to heal your mind, you have to do that. And Colleen was my first OT therapist, and she taught me how to be independent, and that's a big thing. And each one there knows that independence is everything. On OT, I had Emily and Lindsay, and Emily showed me that you're only limited to what you're willing to accept. You can't see this, but she told me my arm would probably never move, but I wasn't going to accept that. So my arm moves. I can actually turn light switches off now. So the point is, never give up. Nobody can tell you what you can and can't do. I couldn't live in a wheelchair. And Alex said, well, then you need to get out. And I said, well, help me. And she did. She helped me get out of the wheelchair. Nurses, I had Angie, which was always smiling Angie. She was always smiling. Jenna, she was always so nice. I wish I could be as nice as Jenna was. Carol was rock steady. The place could be falling apart, and Carol would say, okay, here's what we're going to do. And Tracy was my tech. She got me dressed every morning, and God loved Tracy. Dr. Carboni and Rachel. And Dr. Carboni every morning would come in and put her hands on my shoulder and tell me to raise my shoulder, and it wouldn't raise. My left shoulder wouldn't, but now it does, and that's when my arm started moving. So she was right in knowing that that's what was the first part. And Rachel was Mother Rachel. She was always worried about you taking your meds and getting your blood work and everything done. Just a tremendous place, though, tremendous. I also had Forrest and Jenny as substitutes whenever the people were off for some reason. And the point of that was that there was never anybody that wasn't 100% a team player behind me. I worked as a project manager for an electrical contractor prior to my stroke. And I worked at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, which is the top engineering school in the nation, and Pfizer's, which is probably one of the top pharmaceuticals. They all talk team, but I told somebody one time, I think it was Alex, there was no one that has a team like RHI has a team. It's truly a team, not just in words, but a true team. One would get you so far and then hand it off to another one. And each one was concerned and would talk to your other therapists to see what you needed to improve on. It's amazing. I mean, Alex and Kelly were the 2 people that got me where I wanted to be today. I can't thank them enough. The one thing a stroke does teach you is that, and I can say this 1,000 times and people still don't do it, but take time and enjoy your life. There's nothing more important.
Hi, my name is Alex. I am a physical therapist here at RHI, and I nominated Michael Keyes for Patient of the Year for a lot of reasons. When I first met Mike, he required a lot of assistance to do almost everything after his stroke. Fortunately, inpatient therapy and nursing worked really hard, and so by the time he came to us, he could walk a little bit, but it still required a lot of effort on our part. And Mike and I always had this joke where if I was sweating more than him, there was something wrong. Mike is a hard worker. He's very determined, and I think that helped him through his recovery to the point where now he's walking without the assistance of anyone. He was at least using his cane last time I saw him, but based on what I know about Mike, he's probably walking without anything now because he works so hard. His goals were always much bigger than just walking by himself. It was being able to enjoy the company of his family or being able to enjoy his grandkids. Mike, he is such a hard worker. He would always encourage patients, whether they were inpatient or outpatient, whether he knew them or not. He would walk by them in the gym and say, hey, listen, I was where you were, and this is where I am now. You just have to work hard and trust your therapist. And I think that encouragement goes a long way and changes the lives of everybody around him, not just him. He made a difference in a lot of patients' lives, whether he knows it or not. And Mike always wanted to go down to Unit 3 and say hi to all of his techs and nurses and everyone that worked with him, just to show them how good he was doing. And so it was always fun with Mike because he always was so grateful to everyone and would go down and just say, thank you for helping me. Like, this is where I am now, and I wouldn't be here without you. Mike, I am so proud of how far you've come. The therapy team talks often about, where you were and where you are now, and I know that you are just really enjoying life now on the lake with your grandkids, just being a grandpa, and I'm just really proud to have worked with you and have been your therapist.